Yet our best trained, best educated, best equipped, best prepared troops refuse to fight. Matter of fact, it's safe to say that they would rather switch than fight.
Everyone, you may be seated. At this time, we'll have our sister Amina. She'll be singing our national black anthem. Pardon me, if everyone can please stand for our national black anthem. I apologize. Please forgive me. I apologize. For our national black anthem, I need you all to remain standing. You're not tired yet, are you? No. Okay. Here go our sister Amina.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God who has brought us thus far on our way, God who has by thy might led us into the light. May we forever in the path we pray, lest our feet stray from the places our God where we meant be, lest our hearts, drunk from the wine of the world, we forget thee. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
Keep our hands together for Sister Amina. And that awesome job that she did. Greetings to you. My name is Brother Jackson X. I'm a student in the ministry of Muhammad Mosque No.7, Newark, New Jersey. Being a student and follower of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, they teach us that God is the true center of everything. So it is always proper that we start such an occasion with salutations or a petition to He who is the Lord of all the worlds. So quite naturally, as a Muslim, we say in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. However, we bear witness that regardless of name, land, or language, there is but one God. And we bear witness that Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad are in fact His messengers. I greet each and every one of you with the salutations of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, our original language of Assalamu alaikum, which in English means peace be unto you. How are you feeling, brothers and sisters? Give yourselves a warm round of applause for being here. We thank each and every one of you for attending this awesome program tonight. First, let us thank our student minister, Hafiz Muhammad, student minister Henry Muhammad, their staff, laborers, and all the believers here at Muhammad Mosque No.7 and 7C, New York City, for their tireless efforts to put on a forum so that those of us who are concerned with the spiritual, mental, and moral dilemma facing the black man and woman of America in particular, and humanity in general, can convene and have an intelligent dialogue where we might create a comprehensive plan and a programmatic solution. Let us, or let me say at the start of this program, that this is not some bourgeois HNIC gripe session. But since we are all striving to be civilized, and the duty of the civilized is to teach those who are uncivilized civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of themselves, the science of everything in life, love, peace, and happiness, let us converge and try to do that as one. But while we are all gathered here today to hear from our revolutionary, our prolific brother and friend Chuck B, we as Muslims know him as Brother Chuck X. We are all here because we have legitimate concerns with the condition of a beautiful art form that has been commercialized, proselytized, pimped, raped, molested, and robbed by an elite group of clandestine men who make up 10% of the human population, whom the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us are the rich, the slave makers of the poor, who teach the poor lies to believe that the almighty true and living God is a spook and cannot be seen by the physical eye. Come on. This group are the billion-dollar ventriloquists, we like to call them, those who are using the willful ignorance and the suffering of a people to cause us to degrade ourselves, our people, and our community. We want to talk about those whom we see and those who we don't see. We want to talk about the puppet and the puppet masters. But since the wise man is the one who has made a careful study of the past events of ancient and modern history, then modern history teaches us that Plato wrote in his classical dissertation called The Republic. He said that whenever music is introduced to a nation, it can alter the characteristics of that nation. And we bear witness because in the Bible, yeah, I said the Bible, but you're a Muslim. But we believe in Allah's prophets and the scriptures that they brought to the people. So the Bible teaches us in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 22. And when the evil spirit of God was upon Saul, that David played his harp, and Saul was refreshed and well, and the evil spirit departed from him. The Bible tells us in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 5, Solomon said, "It is better to hear the rebuke of a wise man than to hear the song of a fool." So you pick up your Bibles and it's in there. Yes, pardon me, I'm wiping a lot. It's Ramadan. Yes, that's a little cursing. So Solomon said that it is better to hear the rebuke of a wise man than to hear the song of fools. Well, we believe that that wise man in this dispensation of time is the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. That's right. He is like God premier DJ on the scene today, trying to get humanity to move to the rhythm of the prophets and their prophetic sayings. He's trying to get you and I to move to the rhythm of the time and what must be done. But just like Jesus before him, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said that I have piped unto you all the day long, but we have not danced. I have mourned to you all the day long, but you have not lamented. He has been teaching us and training us and guiding us. Some of us cannot see the relevance in us being a religious group putting on a hip-hop forum or a hip-hop discussion. That is because many of the religious leaders do not have the testicular fortitude to address this most vital issue that is plaguing us and our community. But the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, like the brave fighter he is standing on truth. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. I see our beloved brother Chuck Lee has arrived. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. A question was asked. Why does the devil keep our people illiterate? So that he can use them for a tool and also a slave. He keeps them blind to themselves so that he can master them. Illiterate means ignorant. If you look at the word illiterate, you see the word ill and rate. To be ill means to be sick, and rate is the speed that you're moving at. So when you are illiterate, you tend to move kind of slow. So if you see the black man and woman and they're walking kind of slow, maybe that's because they're not just academically illiterate, but they also are divinely illiterate. What is divine illiteracy? When you and I can no longer read the signs of God. And when we lose the ability to read God's signs, then it is paramount on God to raise up a man to help us see clearer, help us see better, help us think clearer, and help us think better. Oh, you can bear witness to what I'm saying. But at this particular time, dearly beloved brothers and sisters, we don't want our brother Chuck D to wait any longer. I know you have all come to hear him and what he has to say, his enlightenment on hip-hop, and in general, let's bring up our dearly beloved brother Chuck D with a warm round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. We're going to cut right to the chase. As you see, it's never been about a me, it's been about a we, and that's my theme and our theme tonight at this critical turning point. I come from a crew, I come from a group of men and women who've traveled around the world. So before I actually give my 2 cents of advice and point of view, I'm going to ask Brother Professor Griff to say some words, but before I'd like to ask another one of the giant MCs in this city, Cormega, to step up to the microphone and say something. Like I said, the theme is me to we, because we've gone from we to me, and I'll be talking more about that. Spread the voices, spread the words.
Assalamu alaikum. First, I just want to say I'm happy and humble to be here. Honored to be in the presence of all of you. I've always been fascinated with 2 things: the words and the knowledge that I've learned from Chuck D and Public Enemy, and the grace and the discipline of the Nation of Islam. So thank you for having me here. Hip hop is something that we created. Us melanated people, we came from colonization. We had nothing. And we make the best out of nothing. We made soul food from nothing, and we created this genre that has influenced the world and has elevated my life as well as Public Enemy and other people that are DJs, MCs, etc., etc. And it came to a point, like the brother said earlier, where other people decided that they wanted to control this thing that we created called hip hop. I myself was once intrigued by some of the trappings of the industry until I seen a better way. I refuse to be a part of the mockery and the buffoonery that I see perpetuated by radio nowadays. I refuse to call our black sisters bitch. I refuse to glorify alcohol. I refuse to glorify the pitfalls and the ills of the street. What I will do is use my reputation and influence, which was generated from the street, to try to elevate my brothers and my sisters. I recently put out a single called Industry, which is giving an honest perspective of the industry, and I was honored to use the voice of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan on my single. I really have nothing more to say. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm just excited as the rest of you to hear my brother Chelsea and Professor Griff speak. So God bless all of you. Peace and have a good day.
Professor Griff.
In the name of Allah, Magnificent and Merciful, I want to greet you with civilized greeting. Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone doing? All right, since I only have a few minutes to speak, I think, like Chuck said, we need to kind of skip the gymnastics and get right to the point. Many people in the house are Muslims. Student ministers and the brothers, did y'all take note of that? All right, so we got some work to do. Is that right or wrong? And these are just the people in the building. There's thousands of people outside the building we need to get in the building, but deeper than that, I think the minister has taught us and has been teaching us that in these days and times, Islam will be in everyone, not necessarily everyone in Islam. Is that the actual fact? So let's make that a reality then. Once again, assalamu alaikum. Let me just get right to the point. We began this journey and this path, how many years ago?
A long time, because I was a big fan.
Oh, okay, so he's my biggest fan. Well, he was my biggest fan, and I was doing the musical aspect of this thing as I was coming back and forth to the mosque, and I was doing the musical thing with my good brother KG back there. Raise your hand. This was my original partner. Give him a round of applause. And Chuck will attest to the fact that we were DJing and Chuck was in the audience. And then, you know, the coming up together with him bringing that other dude with the clock. What's his name? Yeah, I'm blaming that on you. And I was a student of this brother right here, martial arts. Let's give Pop Diesel a round of applause. And surprisingly enough, this was one of my students, Brother Mike, who's now managing Public Enemy. Let's give him a round of applause. So I think the numbers swell to about 15, 16 now. So we're rolling with a family of good people. My extended family is sitting right here on the front row. I would not have been teaching to the degree of what I'm teaching, rather, to that particular degree if it was not for this good brother in the green shirt. Right, stand up. Let's give a round of applause to my good brother, Black Dot. Let's give it up for Black Dot. It's a very, I don't mean to be long, but there's a very monumental book that the brother has put together. It's called Hip Hop Decoded, from its ancient origins to its modern day matrix. And we have to understand it to that particular degree, because he talks about not only the four fundamental elements of hip hop, but the fifth element, which synthesizes the four fundamental elements. And he teaches that it was based on the four fundamental elements of the universe. I need you to make a mental note of that, because if we fast forward, now listen, if hip hop being four fundamental elements based on the fifth element, which synthesizes the four, and is based on the four fundamental elements of the universe, that's a lot greater and a lot larger than just you picking up the mic and you emceeing. Am I right or wrong? You talk about something that's not only divinely guided, but something that's in us, all right? And we have to understand it to that degree. A lot deeper than what anyone standing outside of the culture can actually understand, all right? When we take hip-hop from where it is, and we want to try to move it to the point where we begin to own it, all right, and control what's going on inside the culture of hip-hop, we have to look at the economics of hip-hop. Can we do that for a second? All right. We have to understand that, number one, when hip-hop leaves our hands and leaves the studio, and it leaves your spirit, all right, the image of hip-hop is not controlled by black people. Am I right or wrong? Right. We do not control any infrastructure to control how hip-hop is manipulated once it leaves our hands, all right? That machine world is controlled and set up by someone else, as Black Dot teaches in his book, Hip Hop Decoded. But there's a brother in the audience I'd like to introduce you to, who's put together an economic system for hip hop, that everyone participating in hip hop, not only hip hop, but black music. From the time the music leaves your bedroom, your living room, or the studio, or wherever you were created at, you can actually benefit from it a few months later, all right? Can I introduce you to a brother? Ron Holt, please stand up, good brother. Give this man a round of applause. This man has put something together that will actually compete with iTunes. It's called the Millennium 5 Group, all right? Now, we're talking about making a song, getting it out, using the mediums that we have now, all right? He's doing business right now with a few banks that will actually get you a credit card to the point where when you paid your royalties will be dumped right on your credit card and you can spend it the next day. We're talking about economics and actually doing something to put something together to let these other people know that we're going to take our culture back and we're going to control it. All right? Now, y'all should be jumping for joy right now. Hold on. How many people can you mention in the annals of history of black music have been beat for their daggone royalties? Are you following me?
How many?
How many?
What percentage?
No, what percentage? Let's talk about percentage.
99.9%.
Thank you. I mean, we have stories upon stories of people not receiving. Let me tell you something. When
We're
Ron,
not being able to define a royalty. Well, you got to define a royalty, and people can't even define it. What's a royalty?
we gonna let Chuck step to the mic and explain. I'm just letting you know. Listen, and as y'all already know, we have scientists among us. And this brother sat back and took notes for 15, 20 years, and he said, you know something, Griff, I'm going to go back and get all those old artists that's been beat for their royalties, and we're going to give them the money that's due to them. Every one of them. Am I right, Ron? Every single one of them. Before we leave here today, brothers and sisters, whether you're involved in music or not, you've benefited for listening to some of the groups that have made music. But our brothers are languishing, man, in old folks' homes right now. Not receiving a royalty check. Let me tell you something. Michael Jackson, he said it best. He said, we have to perform because the other people control the royalties. The other people control the masters. Am I right or wrong? These brothers put something in place so we can get those masters back so we can start benefiting from it. Now, I know you're saying, Professor Griff, why are you going into this? Black Dot, what was the last song you made? The one we did together. What's the joint we did together? And I know. That song goes out. 10 years from now, the Cadillac company, Lincoln from Cadillac, make a new car. They want to pick that song up. And now that song is being played behind a Cadillac commercial. How you going to get your money? Now, Cadillac company got subsidiaries and other people they deal in business with in the four corners of the earth. And now they're playing your song that's being played in Holland and Belgium and Russia and China and other places. How you going to get your money?
Mr. Ron Holt.
This is Mr. Ron Holt. Yes, sir. So we have to be able to understand it on an economic level. Now, last point, on a cultural level, and I hope you don't mind me saying this. I know you know where I'm going with this. Back in 1989, I did an interview with a gentleman by the name of David Mills. You remember him? Y'all don't sound like y'all remember him.
Yeah, we remember.
Well, let me press the pause button and rewind the time. Now, we was on tour. There was a brother, his brother, and his brother by the name of James Bond, who talked to Brother Don Muhammad up in Boston and the research group of the Nation of Islam and gave him a pamphlet at the time. What was the name of the pamphlet? The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. I was the Minister of Information at the time. The book ended up in my hands. All right? At that time, we would take free tickets and go out in the hood and get people to come to the concerts. I ran into this brother, had no money working at Kinko's. I went to Kinko's to get the book duplicated. All right? The brother said, this is an interesting book, man. And you let me go to the concert, I'll reproduce some for you. I said, do your thing, man. I came back a couple of hours later, the brother had a couple of boxes. So we was handing the book out. The Secret Relationship, don't tell Brother Don that, I'm just saying. We were handing the book out. During the whole first part of the tour, we was going over the book, debating different parts of the book, having an inside family discussion about the book. By the time we ended up in D.C., some people say, according to the white man's press, Professor Griff had chew on the brain. We're trying to marinate on that for a minute. We're talking about the secret relationship between blacks and Jews back in 1989. All right? We inside of the music industry. So we were already dealing with the Moskowitz. the Cohens, help me out. The Moskowitz, the Cohens, and who else? The Rifkins. Y'all know the name. Y'all can call the roll better than I can. Am I right or wrong? Every aspect, the Harry Fox Agency and a few other people. All right? So we were surrounded by these people. So it wasn't no big thing to have that particular conversation. Am I right or wrong? To us, like with some of you, it was common knowledge. Right or wrong? Right. Sat down with a black man at a lunch table with the tape recorder rolling, with a table full of books, and I put out what I thought was actual facts, all right, to the brother. Lo and behold, an hour and 10 minutes later, his white Jewish girlfriend walks in. All right, the complexion of the conversation changes now. All right? Long story short, to make the short story shorter, woke up the next morning, all right, after I explained what I talked about in the interview, woke up the next morning, it was plastered across the paper. I believe it was the Washington Times. Right. 2 days after that, it hit the Village Voice. By that time, Chuck, Def Jam, Rush, and a few other people started getting phone calls. All right? That machine that Black Dot talks about in his book, The Machine World, all right, was in effect now. All right, so now the objective was to see whether or not if all of us are anti-Semitic or just the short, curly-haired, brown-skinned one. Are you following me? The Minister of Information. But we didn't mind. We understand we live kind of different lives, had different kind of ideologies working inside of one group. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind having those particular discussions. To make a long story short, the short story shorter, what happened with public enemy. So now let's fast forward. When did this thing go down with Peter Rosenberg?
Beginning of June, right after summer.
Right after the summer jam. Now I want to tell y'all straight up. The information that I put in that particular lecture, you see, it's starting to haunt you right now because that information is coming back around now. And I'm going to say exactly what I said in the interview that I did with Brother Rich, with my big sister here, Zaza Ali. Let's give her a round of applause. The sister I do my regular show. No, sister, you got to stand up. You got to stand. Let's give her a round of applause. This is Zaza Ali. I think at that time, when I first heard the thing about Chuck, I'm calling people that know me, and I'm just saying to myself, I mean, can y'all believe that this is happening? These are the same people I talked about in 1989. Tell me I'm lying. Please, somebody stand up and tell me that I'm lying. The same trickery, the same deceit, the same people. Now, Chuck is going to explain to you what went down to Hot 97 at the Summer Jam. But before he do, I can't use the particular language that I know I need to use at the mosque here to explain to you how they introduced us at the Summer Jam. But just to give you a picture on how it looked, tell me am I lying, Pop? Did we not pull up in the bus and we see armed guards? I'm talking behind stage. I'm talking M16 suited and booted for a hip-hop concert. We went through metal detectors. Had to get checked. Bags got checked. Everything. Bus got checked. Are you following me? This is for the summer concert. We came in and they introduced us. Let me see if I get the wording right without being too vulgar. Here is the thickness of the revolutionary niggas of hip-hop, Public Enemy. I'm like, come on, man.
The hosts. These are the hosts.
Wow. Now I'm saying to you, we talking about a group of brothers that came together to raise the vibrational pitch of our thinking, all right, through the medium of hip-hop, which is higher infinite power, healing our people. After all of the work we've done, we saw at the Summer Jam to connect the now generation to the older generation so we could prepare them for the future. And you introduce us as, come on, stop that, man. That's very disrespectful. Are you following me? Me and Zaza heard what was going on with Chuck. We caught wind of it. We said, okay, if nobody else is going to stand up and say something, we will stand up and say something. I don't know if you heard the YouTube interview that we've done with Brother Rich. Just put in Professor Griff and Zaza Ali. We talked about Chuck D, Dame Dash, and Hot 97. I'm saying that to say this. Hip-hop is high infinite power healing our people, and this is our culture. And this is what we told Rich that night. First of all, hip-hop is black culture. Let's get that straight right now. Can we agree to that? It's gonna make it go better. You all right? I ain't gonna tell him I knew you back when you was Kevin, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Soldiering up on the block. All right. But listen, we have to send a direct signal to these culture bandits, culture vultures, who have came in and co-opted hip-hop and controlled hip-hop. These lawyers, these accountants, the same people that Brother Ron and Black Dot are dealing with. These same people that came in and have taken and got their claws deep into hip-hop, that control the image of hip-hop, that control the vibrational frequency of hip-hop. The guy that's responding to a culture and brought it down and into a culture of death. Are you following me? This cracker got the nerve to ask Chuck what has he done for hip-hop lately. I mean, I don't know how mad you got, but I was mad for you. You understand what I'm saying? Here's someone outside of the culture of hip-hop, manipulating and controlling the culture of hip-hop, making billions from bringing hip-hop culture down, dumbing hip-hop culture down, all right? Feeding hip-hop to swine, and keeping us vibrating on that level to the point where we're now taking hip-hop, the lowest essence of what we have to offer, and giving it maximum exposure as Black Dot teaches. And now we're feeding on the negative aspect of hip-hop. So I'm seeing all of this. I'm looking in hip-hop. I'm seeing that madness go on. I wrote a book, this is my last point, I wrote a book called The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop. The Illuminati's takeover of hip-hop. I started breaking down the signs and symbols and all the madness that was going on in hip-hop. I'm starting to see the signs that the secret societies use, the language that they use. I'm starting to see black people sacrificing loved ones. And when I called it out and I said, wait a minute, there's some human blood sacrifice going on. Talentless people are rising to the top of the hip-hop billboard charts. Am I right or wrong? Talentless people were getting paid. Can I just call one or two people out so the people can know what I'm talking about? Did not P. Diddy, Puffy, whatever his name is this week, did he not sacrifice everybody on the label? He's the least talented one out of those group of people. Why is he the one saying, I know it's his label, don't get me wrong. And contrary to popular belief, he don't even own the name Bad Boy. We'll talk about that in a minute. But how is it that you sacrifice the locks? Who else was on his label? You said, well, Biggie paid the ultimate price. You know that. Shine did a big, right or wrong. All right, you're sacrificing everyone on the label. Mace, Total, and a few other people. Are you following me? Craig Mack, horror stories coming from Bad Boy. But Bad Boy is just an example of all the other subsidiary labels that are tied into major labels that distribute black music, and none of the artists benefit. Do we have classes for artists to teach them about what a royalty is, what a point is, what's publishing?
They ain't even classes to teach artists how to do their thing right, and that's one of the best teachers right there, these brothers right here.
Let's give them a round of applause. We got to understand it, but we don't got nothing. I wrote the book. I put the information out there on the Illuminati's takeover of hip-hop. I pulled the book back a couple of times and put 700 images in it. All right? So young people can resonate with it. So we can begin to understand what's going on in the music industry, all right, that they love. And we can't deny that. I'm talking about Man, Riri, Twan, and Peanut in there. Are you following me? And so let's understand it to that degree. We have a duty to our ancestors. We have a duty to ourselves. We have a duty to our children. Are you following me? To take our culture back and put the integrity back in the culture of hip-hop. And have these other people come into the house of hip-hop and respect our house. Can you imagine inviting someone in your house and you allowing them to walk through all the rooms and looking under the bed and the closet? You don't do that. Am I right or wrong? Why are we letting these people run through the house of hip-hop and we don't check in here? My last one, I'm going to tell you straight up, Peter Rosenberg, and the rest of you Jews. It ain't going to happen on Professor Griff's watch. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I'm going to say it one more time so they can get it. Plain and simple. It's not going to happen on Professor Griff's watch. They're still waiting for me to come to apologize. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to apologize for the truth. Plain and simple. And we should too. I'm not speaking of anyone else. All right? One of my best friends here, Sister Jasmine, stand up. Jasmine, let's give her a round of applause. My sister, she knows the depths of the brother. I'm not going to apologize for me. Y'all got a long wait. Are you following me? All right, to the oath to the ancestors and to the creator that I serve. They're going to lower me in the ground. And I'm telling you, man, if I ever go back on my word, because my word is bond and bond is life, and I give my life before my word shall fail. If I ever go back on my word, may the earth reject my body. Are you following me? And I'm very serious about that. So I need y'all to get up on your feet and let me introduce my big brother, Mr. Chuck D. Give it up.
I expect nothing less. Say culture, vultures. Vultures is a good word for it. You gotta say buzzards. Buzzards hover over the dead or wait for those to die. Culture buzzards is more in effect. We are exactly 25 years later from that time. Exactly. The 25th anniversary of Fight the Power was 25 years ago in 1989. While everybody was talking about the movie, this intensity was going down with us. 25 years ago to the day, my oldest daughter was 3 years old, but 1 year old at the time. She's here tonight. She came back and told me about what was going down at the stadium at HOT 97, as well as going to the Beyonce Jay-Z concert last night, the new MetLife Arena, stadium, that they replaced the old stadium that they introduced us as ends. Yo, this is the ends to introduce the revolution, so give it up for these ends. I'm looking at Griff, and Griff is looking at me, and I'm looking at Pop, and we get ready to go on trying to figure out, well, how do we do this? And you know, they say, yeah, it was hip hop, but it was almost like so much of a different type of hip hop. It was like a football and a baseball game going on at the same time. So I expect nothing less, especially the intensity of this time right now. You know, we say that we love a lot of things in these narcissistic times. We say we love this, we love that, we love hip hop. And even if you do love hip hop, can you define what you love? Third World made a song which was written by the great Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. Now that you found love, what are you going to do with it? Today we got to put a little hell in it. Now that you found love, what the hell are you going to do with it? If you say that you love it. People have come in this room, or greet myself and give the appropriate greeting in this historical home of worship and politics, Assalamu Alaikum, which means peace unto you. I brought a clipboard because my crew knows after being around 28 years, I carry a clipboard before we go on the show because it's about work. Very little freestyle. I got some notes in these whippings of mass distraction times that some people can relate to by just saying their buzzwords. Their phrases allow me to be cryptic, but I'm an MC. Sometimes my wife gets on me and say, well, Chuck, you're a little cryptic. Well, I'm a songwriter. But I'm cryptically clear right now in this year of 2014. And another thing, don't mistake silence for ignorance, because this conversation is about a we as opposed to me. And what Public Enemy just did is we've gone around the 97 countries around the world. What we just did is defer to those in New York and let the other voices be heard. Let it be fair game. This is the birthplace of rap music and hip hop. Let it be fair and represent the true people of New York where it comes from. That's right. So we defer. And don't say kindness is weakness right here. We're being polite by stepping to the side and let the other voices be heard. This ain't the Chuck D agenda. I'm a part of a crew and a team. It's hard just to see a group of black people, much less black men, to be around 28 years in the first place. 28 years, count. Men and women, black men and women, all we did is represent a family in the community. Yes, we've had, like any other family, inside we've hugged, kissed, fought, spit at each other, cursed each other, left, came back, and Public Enemy is just that we got the dysfunctional one brother in our family, just like everybody got a flavor in their family. You love them and you sleep near the furnace. But you still love them. You come from households, from lawyers, that's a person is convicted, doing bids. That's the black structure in the United States of America. This is not America, this is the United, or the disunited States in America. So, peace be unto you goes into, so we ain't got to ghostify, spookify, we're going to simplify, because some of this I'm going to try to make simple in quotes and notes like the MC I think I am.
Go ahead.
I'll be looking down at my notes. Like I said, this ain't no freestyle. I'd rather be heard than seen anyway. We do have a member who loves to be seen rather than be heard. That's why we all fit in one way or another. So we're thankful and gracious to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and all the ministers, brothers and sisters of the FOI, the MGTs, the historical No.7. Yep, and I say, we clap for that. We clap for that. When I talk tonight, please don't clap for me. It ain't about me, it's about we. Keep the claps inside and to yourselves. Because all of this is going to be, if you got it within, what do you do with what you got within to take to the out? I'll truncate this down to an hour because, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Griff, the only reason they mad at him is because he had the nerve and audacity to call himself a professor. You ain't went, you got your 8-year PhD. How can you call yourself a professor? Notice he ain't called himself the N-word, then he would have got praise and all due. He called himself professor. I'm like, what the hell are you gonna call yourself professor? That's the first thing that got the world mad. Our whole purpose is to make the world understand, and yes, you get mad, so what? Be mad, pay attention to us. Not only just us, pay attention to it. Rosenberg apologizing to me is a waste of time. I don't even know him from a box of crayons. He don't know me either. You have got to apologize to hip-hop, and when you apologize to hip-hop, you got to apologize to the people. And just to get relevant, you got to apologize to the people of New York. You claim that you're the home and the house where hip-hop lives. What council did you sit in front of that gave you that actual conversation where you could spit that? If you call yourself a home, then why you put the toilet next to the stove? Hello. Everything got its place. The N-word might have its place in a corner, a gutter, a ballroom, a strip club. We up there in a stadium full of 50,000 folks, 60% of them white, and they say, here's the N-words to introduce the revolution. Revolution to you for what? What did revolution mean to you? So, revolution, Griff says, is not an event, it's a process. So this is a discussion, but hip-hop, and the title of this is what? The state of hip-hop. You can't get the state of hip-hop explained to a group of people anywhere in one discussion. It ain't a discussion, it's damn near a class. Matter of fact, it's beyond a class. This is a life study. Because the deeper you go into the study of hip-hop, you will have to go into yourself. And to go into yourself means that you got to begin with the statement of getting in yourself adjusted to knowledge yourself. That's the problem with some. Want to talk about relevance? The discussion, of course, I call myself an earthicist. Why? Because the whole entire planet Earth is us.
That's right.
It's derogatory to have a passport. We know we need it, so those are the chains in order to make us leave this place. But it's derogatory and quite alien to go and get permission from a government to visit the planet Earth. Come on now. So I'm an earthicist. I ain't a citizen or nothing. Yeah, I gotta pay attention to the law. Inside me, I said, you know what? If I pay attention, I'm a culturalist. The deep within you culture is almost, it's the closest thing to Islam is one God. So you pay attention to those that is higher than yourself. Like we don't go into the studio's in us. Especially now, the studio's in the palm of many people's hands with gadgets. Culture's a universal language. Culture brings the human beings, the human race, the human family together by our similarities and does its best to knock aside the differences. Governments like to split people up, play all kinds of games. You over here with that, you over there based on your visual characteristics instead of your character. Give me culture. My job is to spread the words. We're in the streets where Marcus Garvey made major change. They done threw him out to another part of the world where he made so much impact in the 20s, put 25,000 people in Madison Square Garden in 1921. Yes, the N-word wasn't applicable then. They said this N is a problem. Shipped them off down to Atlanta and deported them back to Jamaica. Through England first, where they dishonored him up in London, and then he had to be deported right back into Jamaica, a broken man. I follow that spirit of three Bobs. Bob Dylan, yeah, good with the words. Bob Marley, Bobby Womack. Bob to the Bob, the Bob, Bob to Bob. Praise to the Starsky. But there's no need to warm up this discussion today. This course is in perpetuity. It gotta be anecdotal when y'all leave here. Don't look at the quantity of this audience. It's the quality of the audience. Never have so many been screwed by so few. You'd be surprised when you start to understand what this whole thing is about, how few people in the room have so much influence over the many. Lesson in what's in this room, so don't look at this as being a crowd that's all based on the numbers, or this number it could have been more, it wasn't. Nah. You say one word to yourself these days and it goes across the world if it's something that jars. And there's a difference between the convenient truth and the jarring truth. And the jarring truth leans closer to the undisputed truth. I'm just not talking about a Motown group. State of hip hop. Let's talk about the hip hop in the New York State. Turning point, season time. I won't be long with this conversation. There'll be graphic notes. Black Dot has done books. Griff speaks and does books all the time. And many people in this audience know people that have done. Coming out on Chuck D is just like all I've been is a prism anyway. A prism to spread light. This is the whole thing. I'm a dispatcher of information. I'm not just the information deliverer or the message. The only thing I came in the hip hop game with a little bit better than anybody else was a louder voice. I didn't really need a mic. My first DJ, Wizard KG, Keith Shockley, he know that. Hey, only thing I came to the table was like, I really don't need a mic to be heard. I can yell over a mountain. But once I came into understanding what we could do with rap music and hip hop and all due respect, fill that voice with some words that mean something and defer and make other voices be heard. This is why when they asked me to come up to Hot 97 and talk, number one, 3,000 miles away. I live in the West, I live here sometime, and I live south. And I live in the air. I ain't coming to no radio station to debate something I put in text. I put it in text. I typed it myself. Had no spelling errors. Didn't even have spell check. There's nothing to talk about. You got the word. The word is powerful. Break words down, Griff. It's like words without really doing.
Without really doing
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So the word itself has to take on some muscles of its own by being really powerful. You don't need a lot of words. I want to be that guy when I, maybe in 10, 15 years, where I say 3 words and people say, damn. We're kind of getting close. I'm not the person in lyrics known, oh man, you're going to spit all these complex lyrics. No, I'm going to use the same words you use, put them in a different way, and come out like, bah! 3 simple words, fight the power. I didn't make it up. The Isley Brothers did it in 1975 when we was 15 years old. They were speaking to the conditions with a jam that everybody danced to on the Soul Train line. So the backstory, Griff gave you a little backstory in this. Backstory is very important, people. Seize the time. What you gonna do when you leave this room? Keep it within. I mean, this is like being silenced. And the one thing that really hurts us is the silencing of intelligence. You got something within, you can't get it out. You know, dumb-ish happens to float and rise because nobody stops it, nobody gets it.